In today's tutorial, let's do the chain reaction scarf together. Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd as well as yarnspirations.com. I'm your host Mikey. Today we're going to work on this beautiful chain reaction scarf. This is more of an accessory scarf than anything. I honestly did this in a matter of a couple hours and it is really quite amazing. The yarn is doing all the work and it is really kind of cool. So I did two versions. Let me show you these and I'm going to teach you how to be able to change the size of this as well. So let's get into the meat, the bones of this particular pattern. You can see it's really quite simple and I did this in a matter of an evening. So what happens here is if you don't like the length, so I did my version as per this pattern. I thought it was a bit short for me because I'm a bigger person. So I wanted to make it longer. So I figured it out that the multiples are in 20. So if you go in 1 to 20, is it long enough? Yes or no? If not, do another 1 to 20. So you just keep chaining in multiples of 20 and then when you're satisfied with the chain, just add another 5 to it and voila, you will have the pattern completely ready to go. So it's a very easy pattern to go. You will see that there's a little fun stuff happening inside the particular item, and that's because that is Patons Peak Yarn. So Patons Peak has these beautiful color popping ideas and they thicken up when they pop the color and so therefore it pops out. So I originally thought there was kind of like beadwork going on in here, but it's actually the yarn. You only need one ball of Patons Peak yarn to make one of these, and then even my other version that I did, which is the yarn is currently discontinued, is Bernat Mosaic here, and this is a color transitional yarn. Again, just one ball. I even did the ball in the version that I did, so I did 225 chains instead of 165 and I still had enough yarn to do my version as well. So without further ado, let me show you the example and let's see how excited you get. So here on the left is the Patons Peak yarn, just like you see here, and I stopped when I was all out of yarn. So I kept going and going and going. You know, you might as well use up the yarn. Why have some waste, right? So I used it all up and you can see the colors are just amazing. I love this particular project. Then on this side I did the Bernat Mosaic yarn, just like you see. Again, I used up one entire ball and again it's just amazing. I love this scarf. I think this is gonna be quite cool. I'm gonna wear this on a cruise as well. So I think this is a kind of a really cool idea, and mine is a lot longer than the original, so it's 225 chains in order to get my version. I just did it in multiples in 20. I like my scarf to hit to my waist level when I'm working on this particular item, and because of that I want it longer. So it's easier to drape over your neck as well if you want to wrap it around your neck a couple times as well. So without further ado, let me show you how to do the stitch work because this is so easy it's not even funny. So here's what the pattern looks like. You're going to do a chain and you're going to go all the way across to the size that you want. Keep in multiples of 20 unless you do the pattern. It's 165 in order to get that particular idea. And then you're going to come all the way to the end on the other side. You're going to slip stitch for a total of 20 stitches across. Okay, and then you're going to do some double crochet in. And then you are going to chain, skip so many stitches, and then double crochet. And then chain, skip so many stitches and double crochet. The first chain and the second chain are probably the hardest, I would say, in order to establish. But once you get this thing established, honestly it's just chain. You can see exactly where the stitches are because they completely line up, and then it becomes a lot of fun. So when you're doing this particular item, when you're finishing off the pattern, you'll notice that you're finishing off on the edge and then you're going to work your way back in order to get yourself back onto the scarf. So I'm going to show you a Cole's nose version, meaning a smaller version of this particular scarf, because honestly the length of it doesn't really matter because you can make it any length that you wish. What you have to watch for is the ends here and here. No big deal, right? Let's begin. So I'm going to show you a smaller version of what we can do with this pattern. So you remember, keep it in multiples of 20, and if you wish to do the pattern exactly, then you need to do a total of 165 for chain. So it says to mark the chain every 50 to keep an even count. I find that wasn't really necessary for myself, but that's up to you if you would like to do that. So you need a size K crochet hook. I like my ergonomics better, so I'm using a size J here, a 6mm, and let's begin. So I want to keep in multiples of 20. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Is it long enough? Yes or no. Answer your question. This is actually just one tassel at the end, by the way, just so you know. So you have to obviously go longer. So let's do it again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Is it big enough? Yes or no? I'm gonna go one more time so that I have an even number, so that I have my tassels, for example. So let's go again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Once you're satisfied with the length, you need to add an additional 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that is your chain here. This obviously is a smaller version, but that's how you would alter the size if you need to. So let's begin working on row number 1. So you want to turn it, so second chain from the hook, so there's the first one, go to the second, turn it over, get the back loop only, and I want you to slip stitch for this one, okay, and for the next 19, so that there's a total of 20. 20 is the magic number here. So let's start counting those out. So I'm gonna count the first one that I did, so 1, 2, and then I'm gonna slip stitch for a total of 20. So you got 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. So with that first one, second chain from the hook plus the 19, that gives me a total of 20. So this is what it looks like at this moment. So this is the outside tassel of your scarf. So now we're gonna continue and we're gonna start establishing those layers of where they were building on top of each other as we go up. So we want to chain 2. Does not count as anything, it's just a builder, and we're going to double crochet in the next 4 chains. So just continuing along. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So now that you have that done, you need to do a chain now at this point. So you're going to do a total chain count of 16. So there's gonna be 16 chains in between these blocks that you see. So let's do that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. So now you got your 16. So now you have to skip 16 chains in a row first. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And I want to go to the 17th. So I'm skipping 16, going to the 17th, and I want to double crochet into that into the 17th one. So I'm gonna double crochet into that one plus 4 or plus 3 more. So each one of these blocks are made up of 4 double crochets in a row, and they're the same every time you go across. So you remember what to do as you're skipping along. So you go 16. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There you go. And come back down to the chain. Remember, do not turn this chain in any kind of weird way, so you just got to keep it nice and flat. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Go to the 17th once again for a double crochet. And notice that you're right on the edge at this point. That's no accident. So we're doing 4 double crochets in a row, and you're right onto the very last stitch. but you're not quite done yet. So every time you get to this point here and in the establishing pattern, it's going to be a little interesting. So what's gonna happen is that the tassel on one side is gonna appear on the outside, and this tassel here is going to appear the second part in. It's not gonna be on the outside. So now what we have to do, if you look at the pattern, it says that we have to do a total of a chaining of 21 from this point. So we're not quite done, so chain 21. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20 21 and 21. So there you go. So every time you finish a row, you have to make sure you add on 21 at that point. So let's turn our work and go for row number 2. So we just want to carefully turn everything. What we need to do, and what I did for myself, is that I did most of my scarf, and then I realized in this particular row it's the worst. So what's gonna happen is that you're gonna have a very long one here. It is very easy to accidentally, when you go to chain across and double crochet, to turn one of these over at this particular point. So when you're watching this, and I know it's very obvious when you see it on the camera, it's like, well, how can you do that? Well, when you have like 220 chains, it's very easy to get it all confused on your laps. So just watch that. So we're gonna come back here, and we're going to then second chain from the hook again. So turn it over, get the back loop only, and I want you to single crochet that one, sorry, slip stitch that one, and then 19 of its buddies. So it's a total of 20. So let's count those out. So I got already 1 2, okay, second chain from the hook was already one of them. This is 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17, and I'm gonna show you a trick in a moment. So this is 18 19 and 20. So here's the trick. You already knew that you crocheted out 21 when you started. I wouldn't even count that as I come back. Honestly, you just stop when you run out before you hit this next double crochet. So let's just get this project up, and we're going to chain 2, doesn't count as anything, and we're going to double crochet in the 3 and the 4 double crochet that are already there. So you need that chaining 2 just to be a builder as you begin the process, but it's the only time you do it as you're moving across. It's right when you start. So there's gonna be 4 double crochets in a row. And then how many chains do we need to do to get to the next one? 16. So let's do 16. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 and 16. So you can just stretch it over. You don't need to count, and you can just go to the double crochet. See how this is twisted? I want to make sure that these stay like this. So it just stays straight across, and you're just gonna double crochet into the 4 double crochets that are already existing here. So the first row is always the hardest, getting your rows established. Second and the rest of the rows are really quite easy because you're just following exactly what is already there. So you just double crochet in the 4 like so. Do you see that? So now you got 3 lines going across. See how the tassel is partly the way up? That's only on this side, and the other one it's on the outside going in. So you gotta do 16. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 and 16. Stretch it over, make sure it's not turned, okay, nice and flat, just like so, and then double crochet into the next 4. So I did my scarf in a matter of an evening, both of them actually, 2 different evenings of course, and it is really easy to follow. The first row is always the toughest because you got to do a lot of counting, and then you're just off to the races. So now the tassel is the final here. So remember what we have to do at the end of every row. We have to chain 21 before we turn. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21. Turn your work and begin all over once again. So remember, you're going to single crochet, second chain from the hook. You can either count back the 20 if you want to. I think you're kind of wasting your time. Just look for new crocheters, certainly go ahead, but for everybody else that's more comfortable, you can just follow it back, and once you hit those double crochets that you're about to hit, you don't have to go any further, and you can just stop. And even if one is off by 1, who cares, right? Nobody's going to be watching your project that much, but just keep an eye on it. Chances are you will be consistent anyway, so it's not really something you need to worry about. At the end of my project, what I did is I steamed my scarf so that all the tassels and everything sat nice and flat, and it gave a really nice kind of a finishing look at the end. So I'm just slip stitching myself all the way to here. Now if you would like not to slip stitch, you could just do single crochet if you wish. It will thicken it up a little bit more, and that's completely your call on what you would like to do with that. Okay, so what we're going to do is come all the way to the back. Okay, and I got one more to go, and double crochet. Then I'm going to chain 2 to build. Don't forget I have to do that before I start the row, and then double crochet the next 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Remember what we have to do to go in between, so it's 16. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Again, stretching it back up, so make sure it's not accidentally twisted, and just double crochet into the next 4. See how I'm pinching down with my finger here? That keeps it from see how it rolls like that? So I just naturally do that, so I just hold it and then I double crochet into the next 4. You only have to do it for the first one. It's because there's a long chain on it. So this is how to do this particular scarf. As you can see, it's a really no-brainer. It's a really kind of a lot of fun. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Stretch it over. I just pinch it down with my finger, and then I roll it, and then double crochet. So now I'm coming up to the other side. Obviously your scarf will be much bigger, just like my originals were. And once you get to the end here, you have to chain 21 and then turn, and then go back the other direction with your slip stitching and get your tassel done, and then continue across. So this is how you do the chain reaction scarf. It's a lot of fun. It's very easy, and I think with the Patons yarns that I showed earlier, just like so, this color popping is absolutely fantastic. It just looks like beads. It just looks colorful. It looks artistic, and I think it's a lot of fun. So until next time, I'm Mikey on behalf of the Crochet Crowd as well as yarnspirations.com. Have a great day. We'll see you again real soon. Bye bye.